Neurodegenerative diseases. This shocked us. MS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ADD. Diseases like this. We had no expectation in this arena. Phenomenal responses. Okay? Autism. Autism. Children with autism need to be looking at mangosteen and minerals. Impressive. Recognition of family members, bonding, eye contact, things you just don't see in autistic kids. We're seeing with this. And we're seeing some of those things within as little as a month to 2 months. Phenomenal. There is something amazing about the mangosteen that we're only now tapping onto. We don't even have the mechanisms. We don't know how it's doing it, but we see these changes in the infants. And the parents are running back to the clinic reporting these changes. Noticeable changes. Families are noticing it. Alzheimer's patients that can't remember their address, don't know where they live. Patients and family members are noticing changes in their ability to remember things and to function individually. Activities of daily living, improvements, taking care of themselves, bedding, things they just couldn't manage before, they're seeming to be able to improve with once this is on board consistently. That's huge. That's priceless. Very impressive. So we want to touch that area for you. If you're suffering in those areas, you know people in those areas, get the mangosteen in front of them. Get this message in front of them. It's very important. These are areas where we're challenged medically. We don't have answers. If we had the answers, we wouldn't stand here before you. So we're looking for anything in any form that can help us in these arenas where we're weak. As you know, in Western medicine, we have very strong areas. The areas where we're tops. Trauma and emergency medicine, we're experts. It's the best country on earth to get shot in, the United States. Quickest response, best doctors, best equipment, best technology. So if you want to get shot, get it done right here in the U.S. You don't want to get it done in the Bahamas, because down there it might be just me on the ward for the night. And if 2 or 3 people get shot that night, you're going to have to wait. So the point I'm making is, there are areas where we're great. And trauma and emergency medicine is our strength. That's why we even have ER and all these shows touting it, because we're good at it. But you don't see too many shows on the areas where we're weak. And there's some areas in medicine where we're ranked 72nd in the world, in spite of our advancements and the top billings that we have in many other areas. Infectious disease is one of them. Cancer is another one. So we cannot frown at anything in any form that can come into this country and help us in the areas where our rankings are not so hot, according to the World Health Organization. I'm really excited about that, because I think this thing has the ability to be a major player in those weak areas that we don't have answers for. Chronic illness, chronic health, diabetes, hypertension, and things of this nature. Diabetes and hypertension I want to touch on, because these are major challenges that face the United States. We're seeing phenomenal turnarounds in the clinic with this, where the xanthones are concerned. 2 of the xanthones in particular seem to be very effective. I mentioned alpha mangosteen and gamma mangosteen. These 2 together, when combined, have a synergistic effect. Synergy is a process whereby 1 or 2 things come together to have a combined effect greater than any one by itself. We see a lot of synergy with the 43 xanthones. They're able to combine in different forms and therefore hit just about every major organ system in the body. People have a problem with this. They want to know, how could one fruit touch so many diseases? How is it possible that one drink can touch that many things? And I want to cover that right now. The premise is that there are 43 xanthones. Each xanthone has a unique side group, what we call an R group in chemistry. Every time you alter that R group or side chain, the molecule behaves differently and is attracted to different challenges medically. I want to repeat that. This is the premise. If you get this, you're going to understand the fruit. Each time you change the side chain on the molecule, it's like a jigsaw puzzle piece that has a unique identity on the end, what we call an R group, an OH3, a CH3. Those of you who had a little chemistry, an H group, little changes. But each time that little change occurs on the same parent structure, you get a different function. In other words, 2 or 3 of those xanthones may be attracted to diabetes. Another one with a different side chain will be attracted to hypertension. Another one with a different side chain may be attracted to MS and have implications there, and on down the line. Gout, chronic diseases, etc. Cancer, whatever the case may be. Garcinone E. Garcinone E, very potent. We saw in one paper, it beat out the top 5 chemotherapy drugs in the country in stopping cancer cells in the petri dish in vitro. That is impressive. And when we don't have an answer for cancer, unless you have it in your back pocket, we can't seem to find it. Until we find it, we need to be looking at anything in any form that can come into this country and help us in those areas where we're weak. That really impressed me. It is very, very well known fact. You can look it up on PubMed, on Medline. Those papers are there. I don't want to get heavy into cancer, but that should excite everybody in the room. All of you know somebody or can think of a loved one or somebody that would love to have some help in these areas. And as you know, chemo and radiation have their own challenges. Chemotherapy shoots everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, we hit you with it, and we come into the room and we spray the room. You all know this. What we encourage you to do is to take something like this, a xanthone, for example, that can be likened onto a sniper's bullet. It has a unique ability to come in and selectively knock out some of the cancer cells because they multiply and replicate at a faster rate than normal tissue. That attracts the molecule. And that allows the molecule to be selectively honed into those particular cells that are replicating at a faster rate than the others. Folks, that's a home run. Indirectly, the molecule is quote-unquote smart. It has an intelligence quotient, if you can imagine that. And so what we're saying is, instead of coming into this room, if this room was my stomach, and spraying every cell in the stomach in the hope of getting the bulk of the tumor. We can give you something to drink that seems to have a selective ability to hone in on those cells that are replicating very fast and leave the other ones alone. Folks, where cancer is concerned, that is a home run. And that's the type of things that we're seeing with this as we learn more and more about these molecules and what they're capable of. That is huge. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had to gamble, I would rather take that sniper's bullet as opposed to taking a machine gun spray. And right now, with chemotherapy, that's about what we hope to do. We hit you with everything we have in the hope of capturing the bulk of the tumor, and many times we take out a lot of the good guys as well. That's the challenge we're at. That's where we're at in medicine right now, where cancer is concerned. So that's huge. The other thing we want to really get excited about were some of the patients that we saw changes in prostate cancer and some of the other issues that we really don't have answers for either. We saw an average drop in the PSA, which is a blood marker for prostate cancer for the men, 30 points. 3 weeks. I'm going to repeat that. Some of the men with prostate cancer came into the clinic. We saw an average of 30-point drop in the PSA, the blood marker for prostate cancer, in as little as 3 weeks when this was added. Now, I know this may sound mind-boggling, and for a lot of you listening to this, it blew me away. I had a problem with this for several months until I started seeing some of these cases for myself. And so what we're saying to you is you don't have to believe me, you don't have to take everything I'm saying to heart. When you start to see what we're seeing on this scale on a day-to-day basis in the clinic, then you too will have an increased belief level. And we're hoping that when you hear the message, that you would at least put your antennae up and be more willing to be a part of this revolution. Wellness. And that's what's exciting us. We're seeing drops in the PSA, the prostatic specific antigen. That's what it's known as, PSA for abbreviation. The average 30-point drop, and most patients, not all, but most, by about 3 weeks. Some people took a little bit longer than that. Some people, it even occurred faster than that. But that excited us. We didn't expect that. That's huge. Guess what? Close to 33,000 men die in this country every year with prostate cancer in spite of everything we do and know currently. 33,000. 185,000 men are diagnosed with this disease every year in the United States. And out of that group, as I said before, 33,000 die. Can we afford to frown at anything that can come in and help us when we're facing those types of numbers? No, we cannot. So I just want to implore you to see what we're up against and to understand what we're up against in the arena. Doctors like myself, that's the challenges that we face. And that's why we want to get you guys involved in helping us to take the burden off the healthcare system. The healthcare system in America is overburdened, as you all know. We're bursting at the seams. We don't have answers. It's very expensive. Heart attack and stroke, very impressive with the Mangosteen. $351 billion it costs the U.S. government every year, just heart attack and stroke alone. $351 billion. 1/6 of just about every American, 1 in 6, will suffer from a chronic pain problem in this country. Can we afford to frown at anything that can help us in this arena? No. Amazing. 1 in 9 women will suffer from breast cancer in this country every year. 1 in 9. And those numbers have been falling since I finished med school several years ago. Again, we're looking for answers in those arenas. When we look at some of the other statistics that we face, dismal, the heart attack and stroke arena is the major player. 950,000 deaths every year. That's 1 death every 33 seconds in this country. That is unacceptable in the most developed country on earth. We cannot afford to frown at anything that can help us in an area where we're losing that number of people every year, annually. That has been likened onto a jumbo jet going up into the air every day and crashing for the entire year. 295 people on board every day. That's what's happening in wellness. That's what we're losing in the heart attack and stroke arena every year. And yet there's nothing. No one says a word. Had that been any other issue, we'd be in Congress and we'd be having congressional hearings and we'd be demanding changes in health and wellness. Yet we're losing those types of numbers every year, and quietly under the radar, no one seems to care. We cannot afford to be blind to what is facing the country where health and wellness is concerned, and we see companies like this as being major and key players in helping this country to take some of that burden off of the healthcare system. We're looking for answers. The politicians are scratching their heads on Capitol Hill in an attempt to search for answers, and we see something. Thank God for the companies and the supplement companies that have now, thanks to certain bills being passed, have a right now to offer us these abilities. So don't take it for granted. That's my point. People have fought for this. We have senators fighting for these types of companies on the Hill and laying their necks down in the Deshay Act to make sure that you have the right to take supplements that can help you and to help you in areas where the government or the hospital and the health arenas may not be exactly strong. Take advantage of this. Seize these opportunities. And I'm really proud to see that we now have these types of companies playing a major role in shifting America to wellness and prevention. I really think this company is going to be a key player in that wave as we continue to move forward. What we see with minerals, when you add minerals to what we're seeing with what I just told you in the clinic, Can you imagine what a home run that is? In other words, chronic illness, the neurodegenerative diseases I mentioned, some of the challenges that we face in those areas, when you add the mineral deficiency challenges that we currently face to that problem, and when you see a company like this that has now put minerals into their supplement on top of the mangosteen, just imagine the implications and the effects widespread as to what is possible when that marriage takes place. And that's why I'm excited about this particular company, because it's the first to do that. Mineral deficiency is a major challenge in this country, as you know. Lots of the population, thanks to the Industrial Revolution, the depletion of soils, and all the other soil erosion and all the other problems that we face, we're eating fruits and vegetables from sources and soil areas that have been depleted, and therefore they don't carry the nutrient content and the mineral content that they should carry because the soils themselves are depleted. This is a challenge. So it's not that you're not eating it, it's not that you're not going to the grocery store and buying the stuff and consuming it. We've seen a trend and a shift in that area, but the stuff itself, the food source, is lacking, thanks to developments and the erosion and all the other things that have affected us in the environment. So the environment is now wreaking havoc on us, thanks to our own exploitation of it for the last 50 or 60 years. So again, we must put them into the diet because you cannot get these things from the food sources. It's just not in them. And when you add that to those who don't even eat correctly, which is a large number of the population, lots of us are getting by on fast food in an attempt to cope with our hectic daily lives. Children are growing up on these foods. And this is not healthy. This is a major challenge that we face in the health arena. And we want to get the kids and the young ones to understand these challenges that we now face and get them supplementing, get them listening to this message. This is a message for everyone, old, young, and in between. Every sector of the population should be looking at mangosteen and minerals. And anything else for that matter that can help them in wellness. Because again, these sections of the population tend to be depleted because of unique biological challenges that they face at those age groups. The elderly have poor immune systems. They're over 40, their immunity is dropping. The young don't have an immune system yet, it's still developing, and they have their own unique challenges. Pregnant women should be looking at this. You have a baby on board, you have the demands of a mother, plus the child that's on board, they should be supplementing. We encourage the pregnant women to get on these mangosteen and minerals as well. You have to provide for yourself, they become depleted, and then you have nothing left over for the baby. There's no one really. Athletes, top-level athletes should be looking at this also. Top level. It doesn't matter what your fitness level is. Antioxidants come in and mop up free radicals. We know that when we exercise, we generate free radicals. So just by being in the gym, just by being an athlete and training, you're developing and causing a creation of free radicals that are damaging cells 10,000 hits per day, every day in your body. People that you offer them a supplement, they say, oh, I don't need that, I'm healthy. They don't understand this particular medical phenomenon, that at the subcellular level, even at the fittest levels, when you train, you generate free radicals and they damage tissue. This is a huge area. Antioxidant thing is a big thing. We have found no other antioxidant that can match mangosteen where this is concerned, especially alpha and gamma mangosteen together. Both of them have been very powerful in this arena. Alpha mangosteen is the most potent antioxidant that we've seen, according to Tufts University and some of the other top centers that are now studying this. Top billing. It left everything else in the dust. Just about every antioxidant you can think of. Green tea, all these other things we like. Aloe vera and some of the other things. When you add those things into a supplement, can you imagine when you marry the mangosteen with aloe, all in one prep, and you have minerals in there? That is huge, folks. And you have that. That's what you have to offer. So we've really seen something phenomenal. We're seeing something that can help in this arena. We want to get you to understand the power of antioxidants. They can slow the aging process and therefore prevent diseases upstream by protecting that DNA. And that's what this is all about. DNA is huge. The human body is run on that program. I saw a lady recently on a TV show that cloned her cat. She had a cat. She spent $5,000 to get a clone on the cat. You could have got a whole litter for that. Basically, she fell in love with the cat and decided that when it was time for the cat to pass, she would go down to the lab, spend the $5,000, and get back an exact replication of that cat. And she did that. This is an exciting time to be alive, folks. Imagine when we can do that with you. That's thrilling. It just shows you the power of science and where we are in medicine. It's exciting. This is an exciting time to be alive. Really is, when you think about it. The internet and all the things that are possible. We see information floating in from China, Japan, Korea on the mangosteen. We don't know this plant. It doesn't grow here. Our climates don't allow it. The soils don't allow it. So people are saying, well, how come if it's so wonderful, how come we didn't hear about it? That's why. It doesn't grow here in the United States. This plant is unique to the Southeast Asian basin, and we're learning everything from them. Our centers are now on top of it. Tufts, Hopkins, and all the others are looking at it now, but we're late to the party. And we don't want you to be late to the party. We are late to the party. We are 400 years late to this party, and we want to get more Americans on board with this party and get them to join us as we seek to reach out to people through this message. Okay? What we see with this thing is exciting. Those areas I touched on were some of the things that impressed me, and by no way is limited to that. I don't want to get too deep into the medical aspects of it, other than to say to you that we've seen a wide array of diseases respond to it in a very short period of time. And these are, like I said before, some of these patients were chronic patients. Chronic patients that tried everything by the book and by normal Western standards and were not getting results, that are now happy and smiling thanks to this wonderful, simple fruit that floated into their backyards through this opportunity. It's powerful. It's a powerful thing.